is there inside this file directory. Okay, so this is the way we can open the directory and list that the elements from that directory. Okay, that is maybe files and folders. Okay, so next one is read that directory. How we can read this directory? Here, if we are using a Node.js version that's before 12, there are several versions are there for Node.js. Then we have to use the older FS API. If we are going to use that later newest version after 12 LTS, then there is no need. If we are using the older version, then we have to use that FS older FS API, which does not have functions that return some promises. Okay, so we have to use the read dir function, read directory function, instead to list the contents of a directory. Here the read directory function has two arguments. First one is the path object, path of that directory, which can be a string, URL object, or a buffer. And the second argument is a callback function. That callback is for when that's called for when that result is produced. After producing result, that callback will operate. Okay. Then the first parameter of the callback is like error object, which is defined when there is an error, and the second is an array with the actual results. Okay, so there are two arguments for that read directory function. First one is path and second one is callback. Here you can see the example that we want to view the content of, for example, file folder. Okay, that is root. In root directory this is present, that is file folder. So we can write like constant fs is equals to require fs. Okay, then here now fs dot use read directory folder. Here fs dot read dir in bracket in double quote pass that path of that directory. Okay, then comma second argument is inside the bracket error e double r comma items. Okay, this is the callback. We are going to read the directory, that is we are going to open the directory and read that directory, and we are going to return that items of that directory. Okay, so after the here see the syntax of read directory. Here this is the path and this is the callback. After this we are going to write some after reading we are going to perform some operation like for constant direct of items. There may be several items we can say available in that files or that in that directory. Then what we are going to print here, we are going to print console.log direct. Direct means the object or that elements of that directory here. Okay, so here you can see it for loop is there for constant direct of items. That means it will check for the all the items in that directory. So here you can see what output we will get here. It will return that similar file we are going to read here. That means that file is having one folder and two files here. It will return the items from that directory files. Okay, this is the how we can use read dir function here. Then here you can see there is also synchronous version of that read directory function, that is called as read dir synchronous. Here you can see the syntax or the method name or the function name of that read directory function, that is asynchronous version of that read dir function. What it takes one argument. It takes one argument, that is path object. Okay, for asynchronous or for synchronous version, it takes only one argument, that is a path object, which can be a string, URL object, or a buffer. Okay, so it returns an array with the content of the given directory path. It returns the array with the content of the given directory path. So we can do the same thing by writing the following code here. You can see the code here that we are going to use that synchronous version of read directory. Here you can see first we'll write that constant fs, that is file system object here, then is equals to required to import that file system here fs. Then after that constant items one variable is equals to here fs dot read dir synchronous version here sync. Okay, so fs dot read synchronously, read directory synchronously, in bracket that path of that it has only one argument, that is path object. Path means the path of that file here. Okay, so after that what we have to do here, it will return the array with the content. So we have to check all the content. So for that, use for loop for constant direct of items. It will check all the items from that directory and print console.log direct. We are going to print that element from that or the direct from that directly. So here after if we run this code, so what we will get the output that we have seen like this. It will read all the contents from the directory, like what are the contents available in the directory, like folders and files here. Okay, so here you can see that open directory function and its synchronous version. Open directory synchronously function let us get the directory resource handle of the folder with the given path object. Okay, so whenever we are done with that opening and opening the directory with the open dir and open directory synchronously and manipulating it, we should close it. Okay, after opening any file, we should close that file. Okay, so similarly, if we are going to open that file synchronously or asynchronously, and we are performing any operations like read write on that file or directory, so after performing or manipulating this, we have to close it. Okay, to clean up any reference of it from memory to prevent that memory leaks. For that we have to close that directory file. So to do this, that node.js has a close function, okay, which takes the callback function with an error object parameter to get the error when there is any error. Okay, so that close function is having call parameters like it takes only a callback function. Okay, so it will close the open directories resource handle asynchronously. So there is also a synchronous version called like close synchronous function. Here you can see that close synchronous function. Okay, so that takes no argument and closes the directories. Okay, directly. So here you can see that example for that closing the directory here asynchronously here. First we are going to open the directory here using that fs object fs dot open dir. In bracket we are going to pass, it takes two arguments, one is path and another one is error. Oh sorry, we can say the callback here. We are going to provide the path of that file, then comma, in bracket error, error if there is any error with that directory. Okay, this is the callback for that. So with that, after opening this directory, what we are going to perform here, we are going to print that directory here. Okay, so console.log inside the bracket dir, then if dir dot read, that means we are going to read that directory. If is there any error with that error, direct here. After performing some operation, at last you can see dir dot close, that means we are going to close this directory asynchronously here without specifying any parameters here. Okay, without giving any arguments to that close function. Okay, so we are going to directly close that directory here using dir dot close. Okay, so when we call this close on the directory resource handle, yeah, directory resource handle, in the callback, the read function which closes the resources and frees up the memory. Okay, it will, after closing this file, it frees the memory. That means there is no chance to memory leaks here. Okay, it will prevent that memory leaks. Okay, then see the open directory synchronously. We have seen that synchronous and asynchronous part for the all this read directory and close for open. Okay, now open directory synchronously. This is the async. This is a synchronous version of open dir function. Okay, open dir function we have seen. This is synchronous version of that open dir. Here it can be used with the read synchronous function. That all the synchronous functions we can use what we can say there by combining that synchronous version. Yeah, we can use this. Uh, it can be used with the read synchronous function to get the directories metadata. We know the metadata what it is. Okay, so to get that directories metadata, we can use that read synchronous function. Here you can see the example for that open directory synchronous function. Yeah, constant, there is one constant for fs for opening this file, that is required. What it required, that means we are going to import this fs, then one constant, take one constant directory, that is directory handle here. What we can say, that is equals to fs dot open directory synchronously. Here you can see the syntax.